Coach Whitmore, you're back here at Draxall where you seem to love, but your last result wasn't a good one in terms in drawing 0-0 with Falkland. What are you looking to improve in this game?
Well, the last result wasn't one that we wanted, but such is the nature of the game. I think we play the champion this afternoon, and if you want to be champion, then you have to beat the champion.
When you talk about beating the champions to be champion, the last time you played them, a long time ago still in November, it was 1-1, but what are you expecting from Harbourview today?
Well, again, we expect a quality game. We know the Harbourview team is a quality team, quality coach, so nonetheless we expect a good game this afternoon.
You're at Mount Pleasant. At this stage of the season, a lot of people say it's about result, not performance. But for you, a coach at Mount Pleasant, how important is it for you to still play a lovely brand of football to satisfy?
Well, yes, we want to play good this afternoon, but again, you have to take a lot of things into consideration. Again, we want 3 points. We don't want to look on the season, the first half of the season, but we just want to move into this season and continue on the trend we are.
Coach Bernard, this is the first time the viewers would be seeing you on their screen since you lost to Arnott, and you said you'll be doing stuff. What are we to expect in the attacking third from your team today?
Yeah, well, it is indeed a makeshift front three, but a makeshift front three that has proven in training to be very, very creative and very, very workmanlike, you know. So I'm expecting with the midfield players that we have to create quite a number of chances for them, and I'm confident today that they can execute.
In terms of Mount Pleasant, they're yet to drop a point at this venue. What is it that you think makes them so difficult here?
Yeah, well, I mean, I look around and I look at the fan base. It is indeed overwhelming, and exactly what it is supposed to be. But our job is to come here and try and silence them, at least for a while, and try and gain the initiative as early as possible.
You talk about makeshift. There's one player that has returned to your squad, your team, Krista J. Daly. You want to tell me a little bit about what he brings since his exploit overseas?
Daly brings some of what Trayvon Reed would have provided for us last season, and he's a very, just like Trayvon, very flexible, plays on the wide, plays inside and the middle, and today we intend to use him according to the game.
The last time they met, it was locked at 1 apiece. And now they're in the parish of St. Anne, the home venue of Mount Pleasant. And Mount Pleasant, they've shown themselves to be one of the top teams this season, and many consider them to be the favorites. They sit comfortably at the top of the standings on 31 points, with Arnott Gardens 4 points behind them. Harbourview some way behind them, 9 points behind Mount Pleasant, but they'll be hoping to show that they are much, much closer in quality. Mount Pleasant, they donned the full blue, and felt a little longer than usual, but we're finally ready to get the action underway in short order as the Harbour View, they come across to meet the players of Mount Pleasant. Dwight Jeremiah, inside the commentary box, your opening thoughts on this fixture?
What I'm expecting as these two, when they always meet, it's never a game where one team run away with it. I expect it to be close as well. We would have expected, based on when the competition started, that Harbour View would have been closer to Mount Pleasant. That's not the case, but I'm thinking performance today, it will be the case. It's difficult. As we look at the referees that will be in charge of the game here, Stefan Dwyer, Ricardo McKenzie, and O.J. Duhaney. And the fourth official will be Damien Coombs, all from the Western region, these referees, as we saw in the first game. But as I was saying, I expect Harbour View to put on a good showing today. They've gone through a difficult patch, and but I see that they're getting out of it. Coach Bernard spoke about a makeshift attacking unit, and we'll talk about that a little more when we see the starting lineup, Donald.
But let's look at the starting lineup for Mount Pleasant first. Daniel Russell is between the sticks. They have a back four: Kimani Campbell, Jamoy Tope, Shaquille Dyer, Sulay McCullough, five-man midfield, Leonardo Jefferson, Alwyn Harvey, Leonardo Rankin, Donovan Segree, and Himoni Bailey are all behind their leading striker, and the league's leading striker, Trevante Stewart, with 13 goals to his name.
Yeah, he's really been on fire this season. He's a player at the top of his game, and a hat-trick on a few occasions. That player will be a lot for Harbour View to deal with.
Anthony Bennett is the custodian for Harbour View. In front of him, Odlin Harding, the former skipper, Johnny Talbot, Ryan Wellington, the current skipper, Oshin Staple, over on the right side of the defence in the middle of the park. Krista J. Daly, he wears the number 10, Shamari Dyer, Kasim Priestley, and Trey Bennett on the right side of the midfield up front. Take a look at this. Nicholas Hamilton, but Garth Stewart, their number 16. Let's see how that one will work out, the former holding midfielder.
I think what they're looking for from him is physicality. He has height, so he gives them different dimension to attack. They can go aerial from wide areas, or they can play to feed. He's one doesn't shy away from the physicality, which I think is what he has gotten over Murray to be in this starting lineup. A lot of work to get finesse, but I think Coach Bernard thinks he'll get there.
And we're underway here at the Draxall Sports Complex. Mount Pleasant looking to start on the front foot. And it's a long ball that goes straight into the hands of Anthony Bennett. And he has no problems there. It will be interesting to see the type of game that Harbour View will be playing away from home.
Yeah, and it's a difficult away game to come to because, as I've suggested in an interview, Mount Pleasant is yet to drop points at this venue. So Harbour View is trying to do what no other team has done so far this season, which is to even take a point off Mount Pleasant here at Draxall. Coach Bernard said he'll be looking to silence this huge crowd on showing here. It's going to be a lot. It's a tall order, but they say the longer you go doing something, the closer you are to ending that process. So let's see if today is the day that Mount Pleasant will drop points for the first time here at Draxall.
Dwight, we did enjoy the shade and the cool of the afternoon in the first game. No such luck for the second game. The sun is out in all its glory. I'm not sure both these teams appreciate that as well.
Not at all, and I'm quite happy you're closer to the sunlight than I am, Donald, at the moment. Yeah,
of course you are.
Yeah. As I told before, I was in it all day at St. Elizabeth yesterday, so...
And St. Elizabeth's sun is different, I should admit.
Trust me, but I represented William Nibet at Western Champs there, and when I finished the 5,000, I said to my coach, the late McNeil, it has to be two suns in the sky. It just got to be two suns in the sky. And because it's so hot, and it was no different yesterday.
Whitmore, of course, is in charge of the Mount Pleasant squad. The former national coach, Whitmore, the former national player as well.
And double World Cup goal scorer as well. So yeah, but he's under pressure not just to win, but to win looking good. It's not all about the results for Mount Pleasant. Certainly, in terms of the performance, is going to be key.
There's Harding over on that far side. He's doing enough. Ball coming inside the area, and it's a header from Bailey. That's over the top. First warning shot fired by Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Bailey is a live wire. Trust me, since coming to Mount Pleasant from Dunbeholden, he would have seen his team earlier register a win. But, you know, used to be a bit part player coming on off the bench. But here at his former team, rather Dunbeholden with the win. But, you know, he was a bit part player coming off the bench a lot of times. Here at Mount Pleasant, he has really upped his game and is pretty much making himself a permanent figure, a fixture in this Mount Pleasant setup.
Mount Pleasant in the early stages dictating the play here.
Harbourview looking to be compact and organized. They're looking like they're playing a 4-2-3-1 system with Garth Stewart at the top of it.
Topi across to Dyer. Shaquille Dyer. Overcooking that one for Kimani Campbell, who is pretty speedy himself, but that was too far in front of him. There's Ludlow Bernard, title-winning coach at Harbourview. Ranking goes long, looking for Stewart. Stewart does well, and again trying to win it back. Talk about an imposing figure. Trevante Stewart is that player, and Dunbeholden, they earn a free kick courtesy of a challenge on Sule McCullough.
Yeah, Stewart is always going to be a handful for anyone. What I like about Stewart is that he stays in the game for long periods of it. Even if he's not getting a lot of the ball, he's certainly one that is going to be there or thereabout throughout the game. I saw him here scoring very, very late in a 1-0 win for Mount Pleasant against Humber Lion in the 94th minute. So
it's Mount Pleasant with the free kick, I should hasten to say.
Because you're used to Harbourview in blue?
I'm used to so many teams in blue. It's a free kick. McCullough is behind this one. He may be favored to take it. There's a 3-man wall that's set up by Harbourview, or it's a 4-man wall, in fact, set up. It is McCullough, plays it inside, looking for Bailey. Still not cleared properly. And Bailey again, there's a clash of heads, I believe. The referee says play on. And finally he stops the play, Stefan Dua, because Bailey needed that attention.
Yeah, I think Harbourview, they were screaming that it was a head injury. I'm not saying they're not concerned about Bailey, but I think they're more concerned about the fact that they were unable to clear the penalty area. Just wanted a break in play to get some reprieve.
I'm going to agree with that. They were in some contortion there as they tried to clear their area, unable to do so.
But they would have expected this, I feel. Coach Bernard is a very experienced coach. He knows he's coming here. He would have done his homework. He knew Mount Pleasant haven't dropped a point here before, and it's a very hostile place to come and play. But what he has to do is to be imposing. I've seen Humber Lion come here, and they really got at Mount Pleasant. They were really up in their face and didn't allow them to play. And you feel that might be the best means for Harbourview.
Staple. Garth Stewart getting his first touch. Krista J. Daly tried to get into the thick of things. It goes the other way. Campbell goes along that channel. Trevante Stewart has some speed. Trying to get by Johnny Talbot, but there was a break in the transmission there. And Stewart was unable to advance well.
Yeah, he has speed, but didn't have the control it required there. And that's something that you're gonna, I think Coach Bernard will have to pay keen attention to, because Staple is this player that gets forward, he bombs forward, he leaves that space in behind. then Mount Pleasant will look to break in that area, and we saw Talbot just now coming across to do the defensive work.
Ball over the top. Kimoni Bailey on it. Campbell with the overlapping run. Bailey used him as a decoy. And the clearance eventually made by Harbourview. Krista J. Daly, under some pressure, gets by 2. Should have supplied a pass out wide, decided against it. And here's the shot from, looked to have been Sigri. Wide of the mark. There was a coming together after he took the shot.
I don't think Harbourview has, a player from Harbourview have really set foot in Mount Pleasant's penalty area. Such is the frenetic pace with which Mount Pleasant has started here. They have started with huge pace and energy. And we saw with that breakdown from Daly, Harbourview, they're going to have to move the ball quickly, play it quite simple, and see if they can evade the physical challenges or avoid them as much as possible.
Harbourview, they don't have Timar Lewis in their lineup. They welcome this youngster though, Krista J. Daly.
Yeah, he should come back with a lot of experience. Spent 1 year on loan at Copa FC FC Copa in Slovenia.
Bailey robs it inside the area, gets some support, and now here's an opportunity. Oh, the shot was dragged wide. Still in play, however. Well, it goes behind for a corner kick, but that was an opportunity there for Mount Pleasant. I think you'd have wanted a do-over there. Didn't make a proper connection on that one. And this one is overcooked. Goes behind, goal kick to Harbourview.
Well, it's evidence of what we have seen here. Mount Pleasant, they're playing a 4-4-2, but they're pushing a lot of players forward in attack. It's about 7 players. 2 wide players go high. You feel because of the way they're playing and trying to press Harbourview high, it's about the transitional play of Harbourview. It's about getting forward between the lines very quickly.
Oh, that's a poor pass along the back line. Bailey picks it up, has 3 in support, goes for the back post. It's headed behind. It was safety first. It had to be done in the end by Shamari Dyer.
It was Harbourview making their own trouble there. I always, as a coach, don't like the square passes. It's a nothing pass. As you go square, the opponent can squeeze you, limit the space you have to work in. They have to look to make more vertical passes here. Not being made easy here by Mount Pleasant, but they have to keep looking for it, Harbourview.
Corner kick to Mount Pleasant. Here it comes into the wind. Overhead kick inside. Bailey again on the end of a pass inside the box, and they could not keep it downwards once more, the header.
In all truth, though, I mean, Mount Pleasant, they've started with a high energy, a high intensity, high press, but really haven't really troubled Harbourview that much. There haven't been any clear-cut chances to talk about. Uncomfortable it is, yes, for Harbourview, but when you're at this level, you must recognize that you go to homes of a team that is a lot of persons designated champions. You're going to come under pressure. You will suffer. Just have to try not to get hurt.
Well, Jimison in conversation with referee Dua. Johnny Talbot now at the back for Harbourview. That's a tough challenge that came in on Trey Bennett. interesting to see Trey Bennett in the middle of the park as well. Usually one of the defenders for Harbourview. He's playing on the right side of the midfield. Well, that was what was listed as initially. Now playing it straight over on the left-hand side, Trey Bennett. A goal to his name so far this season.
Coach Bernard is a coach that is not shy of mixing things up. And,
well, he did promise to mix things up, didn't he?
Well, he did in that great interview, for sure.
On the 30th of January at Jamaica College, yes.
Yes, I was on the end of it, yeah.
I hope you paid attention, gentlemen. Here's the corner kick for Mount Pleasant. They've sent bodies inside the box again, a lot behind it, and no issues there for Anthony Bennett to claim it. And it goes the other way. It's Daly. Daly looking for a supply line, trying to find Garth Stewart. Harbourview will work it again. This is Woodland Harding. Daly given the roaming role, stabs it forward, but again Bennett, or rather that was Stewart. Slightly manhandled there.
Yeah, but something that Coach Bernard said he doesn't mind. He feels he's better to deal with physicality than Murray.
Well, a player is down for Mount Pleasant. And yeah, that looks to be Alwyn Harvey.
Yeah, it is.
Holding or feeling his shin bone.
Or is his calf? I think he's holding. I'm not quite sure what is giving him that trouble. I think there's a mascot.
You'd hope it's a mascot and not a person, do I, Jeremiah? Because
Or not a real lion. Will you be running out of your seat here, Donald?
I think they say you should stay still when these... my goodness. Is Humble Line in the building? Because that would have been appropriate, I suppose.
Maybe his GPS has gone AWOL.
Which means that he's probably ticked off and we should stay far away.
We're nicely perched up here, Donald.
You do know that cats climb, right?
Well, we have a lot of security below, eh?
Yes, of course. Here is Mount Pleasant banging this one up towards Trevante Stewart. Stewart was trying to get Sigri involved. Gibson is also there. Sigri turns well, takes the shot, and not a lot of power behind it. And there was little direction on it as well.
Pleasant really making it difficult for Harbourview to really play those vertical passes.
So they're going horizontal at the moment and they force them into a mistake. Was Stewart clipped? He was. It's a free kick to Mount Pleasant in a dangerous spot.
Yeah, they just have to. I mean, the mistakes are being made going horizontal, so try and go vertical, try and break those lines. If the ball is given away, then you're behind the ball still. But when you're outside trying to play square and it goes inside, and as a defender, you lose it, then you're outside not being able to defend the danger zone. So they would be better served to just try and force those passes to break lines. And if it doesn't work, you're still behind the play.
I see that Daly's... We're going to get back to that point in just a moment, but just to start it off here, that Daly's playing almost in a roaming role for Harbourview. And I suspect that would make up for a lack of creativity right smack in the middle of the park for Harbourview. But they have to concentrate on defending now, and they're setting up a wall that's 4-man strong. And Mount Pleasant, they are contemplating who will take this. Trevante Stewart is behind it. Suleb Kala is also there. Jamoy Topi, I suggest, is probably making up a number. It may be between Stewart and McCullough. Stewart walks away. Harvey is also there as well. But it is going to be McCullough leaving it for Topi. It was charged down. It was Topi in the end. He wasn't making up number. Harbourview trying to counter. Sent out wide. It's Nicholas Hamilton there. Has 2 for support. Daly crying out for it. Comes across, was looking for Stewart. They still have a chance, and they can't get by Leonardo Gibson over on that far side.
I think Daly was screaming for Hamilton to come to him first time, because he was on the blind side of the defensive unit for Mount Pleasant. I think that's the first time we've seen Harbourview that deep in the Mount Pleasant half.
Yeah, I think that's the first time they've put players inside the box.
Yeah.
In open play at any rate.
So they'll feel pleased that they've weathered the early storm here from Mount Pleasant.
Too much from Dyer.
Trey Bennett was screaming to referee Dwyer that he was being held.
Not a bad crowd in.
No, really. As Coach Bernard said in his pre-game interview, it's what it should be, and that's one of the reasons he feel why.
Well, here's Trevante Stewart of Mount Pleasant. Has 2 for company and then just losing his footing. He's best placed in the middle, I suggest.
Yeah, he just made a run outside. I mean, it was Trey Bennett who passed it to him. He was looking to assist, as if this player Stewart needs an assist from the opponent. What's going to be important is that Mount Pleasant, they're stopping the forward passes for Harbourview. Daly is the creator, as you suggest, Donald. They're going to have to find a way to get him on the ball.
But they have missed Trayvon Reed this year, haven't they, Harbourview?
Yeah, Coach Bernard suggested that Daly has the requisite skills to really fill that boot, and that's what he's expecting of him today. So let's see how that one plays out.
Mount Pleasant with the majority of the possession so far in this one. Here's the delivery. It's not a bad one, you know. Kept alive still by Rankin. Couldn't find a teammate, though. Stewart helping defensively. But Harbourview unable to get out of their own half at the moment. Mount Pleasant turning the screw. They were trying to find Stewart. Clearance only as far as Kimoni Bailey with the hit. And Anthony Bennett, his eyes were on it all the way.
Yeah, that was never going to trouble Bennett in goal. But they need to quiet or silence this Mount Pleasant crowd on hand. What's happening here, it's really getting the crowd into the game.
Topi. Not surprising that Mount Pleasant with 54% of the possession. In fact, I'm a little surprised that it's that low.
That's where surprise is, Donald. I was about to say, I suspected it would have been more. It's looking more at least 60-40, but, you know, the experts are at it. We're giving it the high test. But as I said before, I mean, I don't suspect Harbourview will be so much worried because, like I said, Mount Pleasant, they haven't had a clear look at, a clear sight at goal. They haven't really steered Bennett in the eye.
Bennett being forced to play this one long.
If he does, you suspect there should be runners beyond Stewart.
Well, he left a leg. There was a coming together there. A yellow card is going to be shown. And I think it's going to be shown to Dyer. Referee Dua thinking that the defender overdid it. Let's see if he did. Was it? It's the. Honestly, I'm not sure.
Not quite sure. I mean, he had a high, but his studs were showing. That's for sure. Because
yeah, but he made a clearance. I mean, where would his foot go?
Yeah, he was high with it, and it was raking down. So it was dangerous if it caught the player, for sure. I could see that coming down the shin. I agree with you. Not a lot into it.
I would love to see a defender trying to clear a ball without his leg being that high.
Well,
or where would his foot go?
No, what I'm saying is that the studs were showing, right? It wasn't like a side foot clearance. He came forward with the studs showing, and that could be the reason why. I understand, though, because there wasn't any contact made, and maybe the yellow card is harsh, but the free kick given, I can understand that.
Defenders are usually in a no-win situation there. If he didn't clear properly, he would have gotten an earful from his coach. But well, he goes into the referee's book.
Like I said, the yellow card may be a little harsh.
A little. Here's a four-man wall that's set up by Mount Pleasant. Harbourview with the free kick. It's Daly! It's wide of the mark. That had some power behind it, you know. And he was pretty close to getting his opening goal this season, Krista J. Daly.
Yeah, I remember him at William Nivy. He would really put in a lot of that. That one, I guess the wall was well set because there was a player outside it. He was looking to do the real spectacular to curl it from outside the post. But it's ominous for him, and if he gets a few more crack at it, I wouldn't be surprised if he really, really trouble Russell in goal for Mount Pleasant.
He's really been given the roaming role as he gets a knock to his face there.
Would have learned a lot, you feel, spending that year at FC Copa. Was there with Kaim Paris for a while. Did score 2 goals for them.
Bennett looking for a passing lane to open up.
Yeah, but he could have gone wide. Hamilton was looking to make the run from outside into that channel, that half space between centre-back and full-back. But that pass wasn't coming.
Dyer. Topi now. Makala. Back to Topi. Topi does really well. Back to Dyer now. What can he do? Topi goes long. Daly on it. And lost possession. Here's Mount Pleasant across the box. Clearance made by Talbot, kept alive. And put behind in the end by Leonardo Rankin.
Yeah, really a good tactical battle ensuing here. Mount Pleasant just trying to prevent Harbourview from making those vertical passes. Harbourview looking to be very organized and do the very same to Mount Pleasant when in possession. They will look to play out, but they're not averse to going long, and that's what Stewart gives them when he plays as the striker up front. They have a target, but what they need is runners beyond him once it goes long. He needs to be winning those first ball, though, Stewart, so that that tactic can come into effect.
Harvey out wide. That looks to be Gibbison over on that far side. And disappointing in the end. Staple was pressured all the time there. Bennett tries to win it back. Picked up by Harvey. Harvey leaves it alone. And the long ball of field. Bailey couldn't quite keep it in play.
I think that breakdown in play came from, yes, it was obvious that Staple lost it. But yeah, it was his decision making. He did a good play here when he got by the man pressing him. And then he was to play that ball again along the channel for Hamilton, delayed and was caught in possession. And unusual to see Staple want to be caught in possession a few times in this encounter. He's normally one of the players for Harbourview that they can expect to really provide a lot of attacking play for them. And Mount Pleasant doing well too, because he is also a part of Harbourview's attack a lot of times.
Bailey on it. Couldn't keep it in play. Goal kick. He was looking for Bennett. Couldn't find him. Now here's Dyer. Rankin. Gibson gives up the ball. Here's Harbourview. They have runners. He couldn't beat the offside trap. Stewart unable to hold his run. We could have seen it from up here.
Mount Pleasant looking to exploit the high line being played by
Topi. Sigree. Dyer now involved. Through the middle. That's a nice take. And the ball almost went through to Stewart. But that was a lovely first touch from Sigree. And he was trying to get his leading goal scorer into the action there.
Yeah, lovely ball. And that's what Harbourview should try to do. But Mount Pleasant finding more joy in doing that. That was a lovely ball. As organised as Harbourview was trying to be, they still managed to find a ball that broke two lines. But Harbourview will have to try and retain possession a little bit more. Just have to be quicker with thought. Not just the action, but the thought process. Just you feel not quick enough.
Nicely done. Trying to do it an extra time. And a handball there against Daly.
Yeah, just one too many, you felt. Was in a box there, boxed in, and he did get himself out, but a second box was created and maybe needed simplicity on that occasion.
Topi on it. Play between centre backs. There you go. Topi again. Route one not working for Mount Pleasant.
Not at all, and Harbourview will be pleased with that, because that would indicate a little bit of frustration and a little bit more denying that vertical pass. So yeah, I mean, they can take heart from that.
Sigree with a toe poke and leaving a mark on the Harbourview player there.
You know, we hear the shout coming from the Harbour View technical team. Much of what we have been bemoaning here, yeah, definitely caught. But yeah, just too slow, temper too slow. And that will have to be addressed first with speed of thought, then speed of play. But again, the ball can only move quickly if support arrives quickly.
Stewart was complaining of being held by Topi. Apparently it wasn't the case.
I think what needs to happen to as well, Donald, is that Stewart, we know, is a makeshift. He normally plays in the midfield. He's been asked to play up front. I think they need support closer to Stewart.
Yeah. He does really well to keep it in play.
It's Harvey.
Looking for Jimison on that occasion, who made the run inside.
So yeah, as I was saying, you've got to get more players around Stewart for Harbour View.
Nice return ball, but that's a wonderful challenge there. Was that Daly with the challenge?
Yeah.
Doing some defensive work there. Long ball inside, looking for Stewart. Anthony Bennett's eyes again on it all the time. Then he sends it long. Hopeful ball for Stewart. Stewart wasn't going to get the better of Dyer on that occasion. Rankin. Kimoni Bailey with some space to work with. There's a whistle on the play. There's a player down for Mount Pleasant over on the far side. And it could be Jemison over there.
I think it seems to be Makala. Yeah, definitely player down. Yeah, we see a nice sized crowd here. Not a lot to cheer about. Yeah, they saw their team, for the most of them, they would have seen their team dominating possession, dominating play, but really not carving out much goal scoring opportunities. So, yeah, not a lot to cheer about for these fans. They got a bit frustrated. You could hear the moaning in the crowd where they were frustrated that Mount Pleasant, they were attacking pretty much on one side, which is their right-hand side, and it's not a case where they go there to come back to the left. Harbour View, you feel, really have not done much going forward, apart from that free kick from Daly. Those long balls really missed their mark.
Mount Pleasant with the throw. Stewart trying to barrel his way through. Need a little bit more guile on that occasion. This is Topi. Topi trying to thread that one through the middle and then intercepts Harbour View's attempt to capitalize on his mistake. Harvey.
But Donald, as we've been saying here, I mean, you can see Mount Pleasant dominating play, dominating possession, the aggressor. But really, it's to make much about nothing in terms of the final play.
Stewart. Trey Bennett wasn't reading that at all from Garth Stewart.
Yeah, what a time to shut off for Bennett.
Topi again goes long. Bennett leaves it for his keeper. Bennett, was he fouled? He was. He gets a free kick for his team.
Yeah, we recognize too I mean, because of that situation, we see Daly, who is supposed to really be a part of the creative plays, having to go deep to pick that ball up. Because that's what players who like to be on the ball tends to do when they're being starved off it. They go deeper and deeper, but that takes away from the attacking play.
He'll be a centre-back in no time, I'm sure. Here's Bennett trying to find Daly.
The goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's really trying to get involved in the game. We also haven't seen Nicholas Hamilton as well.
Not much because, yeah, the bulk of the possession has been with Humberland, Mount Pleasant, I've said Humberland, Mount Pleasant, but they've been going down their right-hand side, and Hamilton is stationed to their left. Harbourview not being able to get a hold of it.
Cuts a frustrated figure at the moment.
Yeah, he started on the left for Harbourview, did switch.
Here's the kick coming in, headed out. They'll try again. Harbourview, 3 players inside the box. Oh, he's kept it in play. The ball inside, at the back post, it's Hamilton! Wonderful save, but the follow-up is disappointing. And it came from Dyer, who really should have done better after that effort on target from Hamilton, looking for his 5th.
Yeah, and again, it would have been a spectacular strike from Hamilton. He's known for that. He doesn't score simple goals. He's come to make a reputation for that. It was a good strike. And it was reminiscent of a goal they scored to win the game against Chapelton Maroon last match week, because it was Daly who had gone down the flank there, a burst of pace, and then provided a pass inside from which the goal came. Looking to repeat there, didn't quite come off.
Bailey on it now. Maybe this game will just slip into another gear before the halftime interval. Bailey touches this one inside. Alwyn Harvey is down for Mount Pleasant. And the ball is put into touch for him to get some attention.
But that was a big miss, Donald. Huge miss.
That was a good hit from Hamilton. It really was. And Russell did well. A hint of desperation in his attempt to block it, the goalkeeper.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good shot for Roche. That definitely had power and was on target. So that's their first sight.
Campbell. Stewart out wide. That's Jibberson. Corner kick.
Yeah, and Priestley had to do that work. He just had to do that work. He gave it away in the middle of the park. Zero pressure on him, just didn't control it off his chest. Served it up from Mount Pleasant, who went on the attack. But give him some credit, Priestley. He stuck to it and did, in the end, come back and block that cross from going in and give his team a chance to reset and defend this corner.
He had to move quickly with Priestley to recover. He really had to move quickly. Here's a corner kick to Mount Pleasant. Swinging inside. That's a good-looking one. That had to be nodded away once more. Back-to-back corners for Mount Pleasant.
It was right in that difficult place. As a coach, I like to have my players just outside that 6-yard box for those balls dipping in there, because it's unlikely your goalkeeper is going to get to it. There's too much traffic. That occasion, Harbourview, they dealt with it well.
Here's the corner kick. a little bit shallow on that occasion. Rankin lost it. Bennett was being pulled.
Yeah, couldn't come to Hamilton to a near side here because he drifted offside. It was more ball watching than looking across the line. And had it come to him, they might have would have just given Mount Pleasant that ball because the whistle would have gone. So again, Harbourview, when coming out, will need to have outlets, better outlets. It's a long time since Hamilton.
Well, here is on the ball, Nicholas Hamilton.
And I say a long time since he's been on it deep. Because Harbourview, because Mount Pleasant has been attacking down the right side, they have been doing a lot of their attack down that left side of theirs because that's when they win the ball back.
Jefferson deep, sending this one long straight into the hands of Anthony Bennett. I don't think there's going to be a lot of time added for stoppages.
How much we had a few occasions where players went down.
Cross-field ball looking for Hamilton. He collects it. Hamilton inside the area, drives that one, and it took a deflection. It's behind for a corner kick. That's your first corner of the game.
Yeah, it certainly is. But that was a good play from Harbourview. Part of what you want them to do is to switch the point of attack. Part of controlling a team when they're dominating possession in a certain area of the park is to keep it away from there. When you win it, as quick as you win it, you try and switch the possession, which is what they did just now. And almost resulted in a goal. Deflection was kind to Mount Pleasant. It's clear that Daly's on set-piece duties for Harbourview.
Needs a good delivery into the still wind. It's, well, it's burnt.
Too long.
Overcooked, burnt. Take your pick. A little bit too long from Daly on that occasion.
Go with overcook. Some things are overcooked, but still can be add burnt is a little bit tight.
There is Wally Downs, still a presence at Mount Pleasant. Your favorite interviewee, Dwight Jeremiah.
I was about to say my good friend. We have a good relationship outside of the interviewing settings. Let me say that.
The owner, Peter Gould, still very much showing his presence at Mount Pleasant. He's at every home game at least, and most away games as well.
I used to sit on the bench as well.
Yes.
It really has been one of the worst performances I've seen from Staple, really below his par. He's a player I admire a lot. But today, I think this first half he'll want to quickly forget, but he'll have a second half to really redeem himself. And trust me, he's a player of good mental strength. I saw him being, for use of Daniel's term, cooked by Cephas, and he turned up to score a goal in the 91st minute to give Harbourview a point against Arnett Gardens 2 seasons ago.
Hamilton won't get there.
Yeah, good
Applause
intention.
The effort, though. Here is Daly striding forward and ran into the path of Dyer.
Yeah, Daly needed to play that one just a touch too much. That's something they're going to have to work out. Know when to hold it, know when to release it.
That's the end of the first half. And wasn't a lot in the first half, if we are to be honest. Not a lot of goal-mouth activity. Not a lot of attempts on target. The Harbourview, they've come to Draxall and they've pretty much held their own, the champions, against the leaders and favourites this season, Mount Pleasant, who have been particularly ominous at home. Javante Stewart has had little say. He's had possession on a couple of occasions, but nothing really to worry Harbourview. After 45 minutes, 0-0 between Mount Pleasant and Harbourview.
Welcome back to Draxall, where we have the main course of the doubleheader that we have here today. It's Mount Pleasant against Harbourview. Scores are locked at 0-0. We look at the first half actions here, what we've seen in this one. It was really a sprightly start from Mount Pleasant. They were the aggressor, and we see Kimani Bailey here lining up a shot, letting fly. Bennett was behind it. Never going to beat him, but that's the intention from Mount Pleasant, really to put Harbourview under pressure from the goal. Daly with a free kick that fizzed just wide of the goal here and had Russell scrambling, and then Daly again serving up a ball inside. It was Hamilton on the end of it, and Russell blocked that one, and you felt Dyer would have converted from just about 8 yards out. He blasted over, and that was the best chance you feel of the encounter. And despite Harbourview was under the clutch for most of this one. Long ball across here, and defensive misjudgment here that led through Hamilton, and his shot and goal was blocked and resulted in the first corner kick for Harbourview in that first half. We look at the first half statistics in this one. It's, as we say, 0-0 between these two teams. 9 shots from Mount Pleasant, just 1 on target, equal by Harbourview. 5 times. Fouls committed by Mount Pleasant, 5-2 for Harbourview. No yellow card, well, 1 yellow card for Mount Pleasant in this one. 1 offside gone against Harbourview. 6 corners for Mount Pleasant, just 1 for Harbourview, and 1 save apiece for Russell and Bennett. And Mount Pleasant with 56% of the possession here in this one. All counts for nothing so far because it's still 0-0 between these two teams. We go to a break with highlights from the first encounter between Dunbeholden and Falkland.
Let's take a look at the full-time highlights here. And McGregor winning that one and then supplying a wonderful assist for Stephen Barnett, who made no mistake. Showed real determination to get the ball off. And Barnett with a slick finish into the far corner. Nothing that David Swaby could have done about that one. And that's how they opened the scoring. Seemed like eons ago. Then wonderful interplay. Samuels driving that one across, and it was an own goal by Michael McLeod at the back post. Samuels is the provider of the confusion and chaos inside the box. And McLeod, I reckon that he couldn't quite help himself. And then this effort was charged down and the header dug out well. That was wonderfully done. Nicholson with the header. And look at that save from Damian Hyatt, going down low to dig that one out. And then Falkland getting a goal back through Thomas, Rondell Thomas, his first this season. A powerful finish. Hyatt may be a little bit disappointed that he couldn't keep that one out, but it was powerfully driven, and Thomas was on the score sheet. A substitute made at halftime, 1 of 3, and then what a finish that was. He had a couple bites of the cherry and finally came up with the fruit with the second attempt. Did Stephen Barnett. Nicely done. And he continued to have a good time in the opposition box. Handball there by Brian Burkett, sliding across, trying to stop the cross, landed on the ball with his hand, and then the finish. A good one. Val Armstrong getting his first goal this season, and then another penalty was awarded. He was cut down inside the box. Shaquille Powell. Barnett looking for his hat-trick. He was denied by David Swaby, and he wouldn't get the hat-trick this afternoon. But then, good hustle by Stephen Williams, pulled it back and then made it easy. Did Rohan Brown, opened his account this season with a good finish. And that was 4-2 to Dunbeholden, and it was beyond doubt at that stage. That's all she wrote for this game. Dunbeholden So, lots happening in terms of the UEFA Champions League on the Home of Champions starting on Tuesday afternoon. Liverpool against Real Madrid, match time 3 p.m. Our pre-game show begins at 2:15 in the afternoon Jamaica time, 3:15 in the Eastern Caribbean time on Wednesday at the same time. Inter Milan against FC Porto. Milton Jackson, a senior exec at Conserve IT, giving out gift baskets to patrons of Mount Pleasant who came up here adorned in Mount Pleasant gear, supporting their team. Of course, Conserve IT, a major sponsor here at Mount Pleasant and in the Jamaica Premier League, powered by Digicel. Back at Drax Hall, 0-0 between these two teams. It was expected to be a titanic clash. It still very much is. We just haven't seen it on the field of play in terms of the quality. But maybe, just maybe, we get a glimpse of what this matchup was always expected to be at the start of the second half, which gets underway now. Harbourview in the red and white, looking to get things going. I would say that Harbourview probably had the better chances in the first half.
Well, certainly, yeah, I would say the best chance of the first half. In terms of plural, that's debatable, but I think they certainly had the best chance of it when Dyer blasted over.
Harbourview on the charge. There's an opportunity inside the area, headed away. Mount Pleasant, they were back there in numbers. Long ball looking for Trevante Stewart. Talbot did really well in heading that one away. So it was pretty even between these two teams in the first half, as was expected by Jeremiah.
Yeah, as always said, it's never a game that you have one of them run away with it.
Well, here's an opportunity here. Ball played inside, and it's put behind by Topi. Oh, yeah, it has crossed the line. Corner kick to Harbourview.
Yeah, Daly now has been stationed on the right side, out wide for Harbourview. And we'll see if that's where the changes have come. He was allowed to roam somewhat middle, went out wide late in the game on the left-hand side. Now he's coming from the right. And he's looking to be the instigator here, the catalyst for Harbourview.
Here's a corner kick that's easily handled by Mount Pleasant. Kept alive by Priestley. But Mount Pleasant on it now. Ball over the top, looking for Trevante Stewart. Has a battle with Ajadi Talbot. Talbot gets the better of Stewart. Does really well, actually. Oh, that's not a good clearance at all. Kept alive by Bailey. Sigree, Stewart. Trevante Stewart going for the glory. And it's wide of the mark.
Bennett was anxious just now. His footwork really left a lot to be desired of. Maybe didn't do much playing on the outfield, but certainly would have been their own downfall, their architects of their own downfall had that one gone in from Mount Pleasant. And Harbourview, they've started brightly in this second half.
Harbourview.
That was better from Bennett.
Press. Priestley over the top looking for Bennett. Bennett has kept it in play. Oh, lovely ball inside, but the first touch was too heavy.
Yeah, it was. I think he transferred that momentum which he was traveling with. He had to have an extra change of pace. He turned on the afterburners, but just as he got in contact with the ball, couldn't slow himself down. And I think that was because the defender was fast approaching. He just couldn't break his stride.
Stewart picks it up. It's Trevante Stewart trying to make his way between defenders. Goes down, was looking for the call. And then the shot took a ricochet from Gibson, but Bennett was in the way.
Yeah, not much doing with that from Stewart. I think he just ran into traffic. Harbourview did well to create a wall of red and white in front of him. And it took a wall for real to try and stop this 13-goal man, because I know he was looking to let fly.
Probably get the impression that he desperately wants to come out to number 13 as well, Javante Stewart.
Yeah, that unlucky number.
Oh, that's problems there. That is silly. I'm not sure if he can get away with that one.
He may
Nicholas
get away
Hamilton.
with a yellow because he just bumped into him, not the raised hand. So that might be what will save him. But I will join you, Donald. That's stupid. That's just stupidity. I mean, he would have looked up and seen the referee with the yellow card in his hand. So the referee was going to deal with the situation. I'll have a look to see, because he's holding his head, and I'm wondering what happened, whether he felt he had a knock in his head from the boot, but might not have been purpose.
Well, of course, the Mount Pleasant supporters are screaming for a red card to be shown to Nicholas Hamilton.
Not just the supporters, the players and the technical staff from Mount Pleasant. I think it's more like a yellow that I think will come, because let's have a look here. When he went down, oh yeah, the kick out with the ball at him.
It was a chest bump.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I reckon that's what it should be. McCullough gets the yellow, and yeah, he gets the yellow too, because there was no raising of the hand, Donald, no movement of the head like a headbutt. So, I mean, fair enough. But that's what. I mean, Hamilton, with his experience, you don't give the referee a decision to make, because he could have made the other decision and go with a different color.
Well, they're making up now.
Yeah, they are. Well, they can see the funny side of it with 2 yellows. They're still on the park.
Well, that was frustration and adrenaline mixed up in one from Hamilton.
And I think Hamilton was more adrenaline than frustration, too.
Here's Hamilton. Has Gibson for company on this occasion. He'd do well not to touch him.
Come on, Hamilton. That one needed to have gone to the player supporting your cause there. That was a rush of adrenaline again.
He probably should have just asked his team to just boot this one long.
I mean,
just let out some more frustration, I suppose.
I mean, that was there, right there.
Well, at least this game has some life to it.
For Harbourview, based on the run they've been on, I mean, it's all about result for them now. And they want to cement their position in this top.
Oh, that's a lovely turn. Daly sends it out wide to Hamilton. Hamilton up for it, and yeah, that's the kick out that he wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the frustration is now all out.
Yeah. I mean, the play from Daly deserved better in an end product attempt. Yeah. Really good play there.
Skying that one, did Hamilton. Oh, we need to be careful. Play continues with Stewart. Stewart trying to send that one across, and it's banged out of the Harbourview box. Well, this game has come to life finally. McCullough inside the area. There's a coming together there with McCullough instigating it.
He's screaming shoulder to shoulder, but I think just got the back. Let's have a look here. Yeah, and the push out of the elbow there.
Harding did well to actually show his back too.
He had to go between man and ball, and he did that. That's what you want your defender to do at that stage. Referee Dwyer is definitely going to, he has to have an eagle eye here, because I suspect there's a lot of little games that are going to take place within this game.
More like Hunger Games, if you ask me. It seems to be going up in temperature at the moment. Kasim Priestley hasn't really been at it in the middle of the park, Priestley, to be fair. And now he has to do some defending. Again, ball sent out wide. It's with Bailey. Bailey looking it for Trevante Stewart, who heads it wide of the bar.
I mean, he wanted that, Stuart. He really wanted that. He climbed all over Dyer and really got onto the end of it. He was second best to get onto the end of it with 2 defenders beneath it. But such is the determination of this striker, Trevante Stewart.
You think there's a goal in this game?
I think so. I really think so. It's scrappy, yes, but, you know, I just think a moment of brilliance or somebody will just step up.
Oh, again, sloppy from Harbour, but somehow they get the ball, and Stewart was fouled. Ball sent out wide to Trey Bennett. Does well to keep it in, Bennett. A royal battle over on that far side. Bennett wanted company.
And one thing I'm sure, both these two teams are doing their utmost best not to lose this game based on the lack of physicality.
Ball played inside the box, it's aerial, and the keeper, oh! Well, the whistle goes.
Yeah, he's going to do that. Stewart is going to do that. He's not going to shy away from it. And with his tall frame, he's going to feel like he's obliged to challenge for that one.
As he should.
Yeah, really. Let's have a look here. Maybe what got him to, yes, he ran into the keeper. The keeper was always going to get that call, but he took 2 glances at the keeper. Maybe if he was fixated on the ball, could say he had no eyes for the goalkeeper, and so it's quite innocent there. One thing that Mount Pleasant has done well in this game, Donald, is to keep Staple doing defensive work. We have not seen him with those runs going forward.
Well, he does well on that occasion to try and hold off Stewart.
And Dyer did well there.
Yep. Trying to tuck that one around the corner, Stewart. Garth Stewart, that is.
That's it, Donald. That play
you pointed
epitomized what we need. Yeah.
You pointed out in the first half. Exactly.
It has to be. If you play it here, it's unlikely he's going to control it on his head. Well, it's not going to happen. He needs runners beyond him.
More so him, because he's not a typical striker. He's not the usual striker.
Exactly.
So you need someone really close to him to just literally pick it up off his feet or head.
Yeah, and Stewart will tell you too, the 13-goal man from Umpers, if you play it to my head, I'm going to look to flick it on. So I need runners.
Well, here's Sigri. Sends it back out wide. Lofted inside the area, looking for Stewart. And now Daly is on it. Pressured all the time by Rankin. Hamilton to Harding. To Wellington. Hamilton loses it. Nice touch inside. It's broken free to McCullough. Didn't have a lot of power behind it.
Yeah, he miskicked it as well. That was a pass in the end to Bennett.
Now it goes the other way. This is Trey Bennett to Krista J. Daly. Sends it out wide. Nicholas Hamilton on the ball. Hamilton heads to the byline. Pulls it across into the hands of Daniel Russell.
I think it would be better served to go back to Daly, who had come across to help him. It was only Stewart who was making that run, and the cross in the box wasn't a particularly good one.
Gibson. The touch from Trevante Stewart was a little too heavy. Comes back out to Gibson.
I think when this game is finished, Ludlow Bernard will be as tired as his players on the park. He has shredded every blade of grass
in his technical area
and outside.
Yeah. Ball over the top. And too much on it on that occasion for Kimani Campbell.
Yeah, definitely. He's into this one. But we know this Mount Pleasant team will play to the end. I mentioned earlier about them against Umberline. Umberline was all over them, prowling all over them. And in the 94th minute, Stewart appeared and got the match winner. It was always too long.
Yeah, even for Trey Bennett. Oh, Daly does well. Daly does really well. He needs to let it off, though.
I needed help as well. Support was long in coming. And I'm right, I'm correct with you, Donald. He needed, or I'm agreeing with you, he needed to release that early, but the ball can only move quickly if the support comes quickly. And that's something they have to work on here, Harbourview. They've started this, mind you, they're more present in the second half than the first.
Both teams not really playing the little triangles to get out of tight situations.
No, not at all. You're right with that.
They're trying to spread the game as best as possibly can. And here comes an opportunity. Oh, he spilled it. And he'll have to grab it on the second attempt. Anthony Bennett.
It took a deflection as well.
Yep. Gave him a little bit more headache than he would have wanted.
Not more than a goal in this one, you feel, if there is one, a goal. Or if goals to come, yeah. I don't see it. More than one.
Bennett at ease.
That was calm.
Getting Wellington into the play now. Wellington looking for options. Goes long. Finds Garth Stewart. Stewart sends it out wide. Hamilton on it. Harding. Hamilton. Harding continuing his run.
Yeah. Almost looked like he gave away possession, but Mount Pleasant leading the possession stat with 56% of it.
Harbourview still with it. Priestley sends this one inside the area. Oh, well.
Almost a good finish. A striker would have been proud of that. Even the attempt a striker would have been proud of.
That was interesting, to say the least. Was that Topi?
No, I don't think.
No, well, clearance was enough in the end. Corner kick along the turf, and
yeah, it just bubbled up before. Yeah,
from Daly.
Needed a better surface for that play to come off. But Mount Pleasant looking to make 2 changes to this one.
Yeah, I think Sigri is going to be one of the players to come off.
Yeah.
Is that Dwight Merrick getting ready to come on?
Yeah. Also coming off.
So Merrick on for Donovan Sigri. Jimson is now off. Shandy James replaces him.
So 2 attacking changes. Midfield. Let's see what the supporting cast will bring to Javante Stewart. Harbourview looking now to respond with 2 changes of their own.
Yeah. Oland Harding picks it up. The whistle goes. And Shandy James goes down, and the yellow card is shown.
Mr. Dyer, but it seems so belated. I mean, it's almost as if he was going to allow Harbourview to go on with the possession. Or was he looking for an advantage to be played? Not quite sure here. Yeah, I mean, look, 3 touches before the whistle came. Can Harbourview do what no other team has done this season, which is to take points off this Mount Pleasant team here at a packed Jacksall Field? A lot of patrons have made their way here, and one fan that came to say hi is Dane Clark from Granville in Trelawney. They're saying he's always tuned in when he can't make it to the game. He says if there was a fan, if there was a prize for a fan that always watches on the app, he is the fan, and he came by to say his hellos. But a lot of fans here, majority of which is Mount Pleasant's.
Free kick to Mount Pleasant. Dinked inside the area. Touch from Bailey is heavy. And it goes behind for a goal kick.
I think Harbourview gave up on that one, or felt it was going out. Bailey never gave up on it, and at the last minute you felt it was on the line that he tried to save something from it. Harbourview will be better served to stay with it.
So Jamon Shepherd is on, Trey Bennett is off.
And Hamilton coming out as well.
Yep, Nicholas Hamilton is off.
So again, Harbourview, they've responded with 2 attacking changes of their own. Hamilton, frustrated, probably didn't want to exit, but not much happening.
Well, Tremonte Stewart was trying to bring in Kimoni Bailey into the showpiece on that occasion.
But Falkland did manage to keep Mount Pleasant off the score sheet in match week 13. Can Harbourview do the same?
Well, it would be a bigger thing. It would be the first time Mount Pleasant will be dropping points at home.
Yep.
Dyer punts it upfield. Stewart. Ball played out wide to Merrick. And
that's a frustration.
yeah.
Well, it's better that he takes it out of the ball than his teammate.
McCullough's header, a good one.
And Harbourview winning the second balls.
Priestley. Harding. Priestley miscontrols.
Not the first time in this one.
No. Dyer looking for Daly. Daly was trying to spread it wide, you know.
Yeah, was always under pressure. I think Dyer's been decent in the middle of the park for Harbourview.
Lovely ball inside. The flag goes up for offside, though, against Shandy James. And he's asking why.
Yeah, I think Talbot would have been bailed out by that because he had a defensive lapse just now. Harbourview just giving the ball away cheaply here.
Topi tried to thread that one through the middle, and it goes the other way. Topi was at ease in standing firm and collecting that one, and then the supply out wide to Shandy James. James has been busy since he's been on the park. Needs a good ball inside. That wasn't the best. Merck tried to win it back, finding, well, thought he found Shandy James, but he's done really well here. Dwight Merrick. Now James. Back to Sule McCullough. Mount Pleasant, patient so far with this build-up. Dyer running into space. Tosses it up, was looking for Stewart.
Stewart almost got it under his spell. Oh no, Pleasant got one ball out the park. Harbourview now obliged him to follow suit. it's been a game where, and you could see Coach Whitmore there, just pensive there, just trying to think how can he unlock this game. It's the sort of game that will really call upon the wits of the coaches, because I don't think the players, based on what we've seen on the park, will be up to it to really unlock this one on their own. Not much quality. And we see Bernard here, Coach Bernard again too, like his counterparts, deep in discussion with his assistant. It's that type of game. The coaches will earn their due in this one if they can get something from it. Fans not having much to cheer about. A lot of them are frustrated because a lot of them are of Mount Pleasant
persuasion, eh?
Yeah. It's the type of game, Donald, that doesn't have a lot of quality in it, but it really keeps you engaged. It's almost like a derby game where the quality isn't there, but you get a lot of emotions and physicality in it. That's what it seems like here. And quite fitting so, Donald. It's the champions, defending champions, up against the team that many feel
to be the favorites.
To be the favorites to dethrone them. So they're trying to say, look, not going to happen here, Harbourview.
Well, James has spent all of, I don't know, what, 5 minutes on the park before he's been forced to be taken off. That is really disappointing for him. Atafroy Bygrave is now on in his stead. So they have the twin towers in Stewart and Bygrave. They would do well to send a ton of crosses inside the box now.
Yeah. And we saw Harbourview leaving James at one point outside to try and get the ball in. And they will be better served to apply pressure in those wide areas.
Bailey on it. Merrick back to Kimoni Bailey. That's wonderful. It's Bailey trying to drag that one across, but it was blocked. And it is a corner kick for Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do. And right away, Talbot step up to do what we just spoke about. They cannot allow the balls to come into the box with Bygrave and Stewart's waiting to pounce. But the ball is going to come in here now, and they're going to have to defend. Topi.
Well, here's the delivery from Bailey. Headed away. It was slightly away from Atafroy Bygrave. Now this is Topi. Well, that was the best ball across now, was it? But Harbourview unable to get out of their own half at the moment. Can they do so now? They have numbers trying to break the lines. Stewart on the run, trying to evade a challenge. But he doesn't quite have the speed to blow by him. So he's forced to go all the way back, which would be considered disappointing for the Harbourview fans. Harding avoiding the press well. Dyer. Daly. Lovely touch inside. Stewart was kicked. Free kick to Harbourview.
Yeah, but I think they would have been better if they wanted that ball to get another one touch to Daly, because it was a nice build-up play. But it will give them an opportunity to have a strike at goal from an encouraging position. But Harbourview did well there to evade the press of Mount Pleasant.
Well, it's Krista J. Daly who is making his mark on this one.
Yeah, you have Staple there as well. Well, God does have a good kick on him. Whether or not he would have been practicing a lot of it since being entrusted in this striker position for Harbourview.
So Staple is there. Stewart is there. Daly is there. The four-man wall has been constructed by Mount Pleasant. It is Daly with the chip at the back post. Too much on it. Well, they showed some imagination there in trying to breach Mount Pleasant. Just turned out to be unsuccessful, as it was quite some way away.
Yeah, I needed a little bit more delicate chip. Took him away from goal. He would have had to do a lot to threaten goal.
It was Jamon Shepherd who was trying to get on the end of it. Harbourview lining up a couple more changes, but in the meantime, Mount Pleasant on the charge, looking for Bygrave. Trying to set up Stewart as well, Trevante Stewart.
Now, both teams just turning over the football with limited pressure applied.
Well,
yeah,
there's another turnover. McCullough. Ball over the top, looking for Kimoni Bailey. He gets a good bounce. Bailey on it, looking for an additional yard of space. That wasn't the best ball out, was it, to Alwyn Harvey, but he keeps it. Harvey sends it back out to Bailey. Bailey, can he deliver? He does, but it's off the bar. And another attempt is over the top. Oh, they are knocking hard now. They really are. Delicious ball inside from Kimoni Bailey, but somehow Mount Pleasant couldn't get it across the line.
Yeah, it was Bailey, and we spoke about the ball from the wide areas and how Harbourview is going to have to apply pressure out there. Well, Bailey came down earlier, was thwarted in his attempt, but when it came back out to him, really, really inviting ball, and Harbourview facing their goal defending, just couldn't put a touch onto it, and when Mount Pleasant did, it was really the goalkeeper's best friend that saved Harbourview here off the upright and then blasted over.
Two changes by Harbourview. DeMar Rose, Javier Lynch comes on. They both come on rather to replace Kasim Priestley and Garth Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart's the work of the change of putting Stewart as a striker is still work in progress, something that Harbourview will continue to work on, I'm pretty sure. But for today, it's a tough game for the apprentice to try and come in and stamp his authority here. But I'm pretty sure he'll have easier days.
Yeah.
As he continues to learn the craft.
Ball over the top, looking for Bygrave. Or rather, yep, that is Bygrave, but Harding is on him like white on rice and robs him of the ball. And now it goes the other way. Was it a trap there, wasn't he? Shepherd. Dyer. Spreading the play. Bailey. Oh, he's kept it in. He's striding forward. It's Trevante Stewart now. Stewart. Oh, Stewart lost it. The crowd was anticipating something special there.
And then the anticlimax.
Indeed. Shepherd out wide. Was there a challenge on him? There was. It's a free kick to Harbourview. Again in a dangerous spot.
Is this a set piece to unlock this one? Not a lot of quality from open play. We did see Mount Pleasant hitting the woodwork just moments ago. And clearly, referee Dwyer saying you can't proceed until I give the signal with a blow of a whistle.
So Daly is behind this. Is that also DeMar Rose behind this as well?
Yeah.
Well, it is going to be Daly, and it's gone the distance and almost injuring our videographer in the process. But I suppose he did get a really good shot of it.
No doubt about that one, Donald. Saw it all the way.
Yes.
Yeah, that was poor from Daly.
Nicely headed forward to Bygrave. Bygrave tries to settle and shoots. Oh, he got a hand on it, did he? Yeah, he did. He had to make the save. But Bygrave was having difficulty to control that one. But Bennett scrambling to his left, getting the touch on it.
Yeah, that was a good save from Bennett. Bygrave found himself with so much room, and by the time the pressure applied, it was sneaking into that far corner, that bottom corner.
Yeah, Bennett was way over on the other side of the goal. Had to be scrambling. Here's the corner kick. It's a good one. And Harbourview managing to clear up towards Jamon Shepherd. Shepherd along the left-hand side. Finds Harding. Challenge coming in. Harbourview trying to move quickly.
I mean, Lynch was like a runaway train through the middle. Just needed a ball to be played into him.
Dyer to Harding. Oh no, that's Shepherd rather. Shepherd and Harding are practically twins with hairstyle, I can tell you that. Wellington. He'll slow it down just a little bit, just to get a breather. A goal, I'm sure, will win it now.
Yeah, gaps are beginning to open up this late in it. Both teams definitely sense that they can win it.
Have to be careful here. Bennett needs a good clearance. Good enough. Wonderful, in fact. Stretching there to try and keep that one Daly. Now it goes the other way. Kimoni Bailey. He has worked very hard over that far side. Kimoni Bailey.
And has delivered some quality balls into the box.
Here's Bailey again. Bailey, stopping the play. Now trying to serve it to Trevante Stewart. Oh, lovely takedown from Kimoni Bailey again. Here's the ball inside. Surely for Mount Pleasant. Bygrave. Merrick. Bygrave. Bygrave over the top. He wants to get his first goal this season. He was the league's top scorer last season. And my word, that was another chance for the big man.
One thing it sure wasn't lacking in that shot was power. The direction was off, but power was certainly in it. He did let fly. But before that, it was two Mount Pleasant players getting in the way of each other. I think it was McCullough getting. Certainly it was McCullough, and he was getting in the way of his teammate, Merrick, who was quite pleased. They're still having the conversation there. McCullough said, I was running onto it, as we see the blast from the pass, a little bit there from Bygrave, but Merrick and McCullough still at it, because McCullough said, I was coming through with the momentum, facing goal. You should have let me have it. Merrick felt he was better placed for it and was setting himself to strike at goal.
Mount Pleasant to make two changes. Ladale Ritchie is going to come on. Melvin Doxley, the former Cavalier player, is going to come on to the park as well. Who's coming off? Rankin is coming off in a straight swap with Ritchie.
And Harvey.
And Harvey's coming off for Doxley. They need a little bit more energy in the engine room.
Yeah.
Mount Pleasant. Time ticking away. Mount Pleasant, they've given up possession. Dyer forced to go back to Talbot. Talbot forced to go long and into touch.
Yeah, just at the vital moment, both teams really unable to keep possession, to keep that attacking thrust going.
Second half has been 10 times better than the first.
Yep. Not quite where we wanted it to be, but much better. Mind you, the first half didn't take much doing to get better. Was for another half to get better than it, but
10 times 0 is
10, but we go to a different
no 0. What? No, what?
Yes, it's 10 times better. In football, it's a different math.
Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. You know what?
You had nothing in the first half.
Nothing,
and
exactly.
You had 10 times
so I couldn't say 10 times, right?
No,
it's really
it's
unfair.
definitely better.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, nice first touch and a wonderful second.
I'm a mathematician at heart, you know, Donald.
Not in mind. I get you. Stewart keeps it alive. Bygrave. Stewart, there's a whistle on the play. Stewart injured someone in the process. And it's going to be a free kick to Harbourview in their own penalty area.
Yeah, it certainly has been.
He was kidding, folks. He knows
No,
0 times 10
it's 10 times better in the second half. It certainly is.
No, we get it.
There's regular math, there's ad math, and there's football math.
There you go. Harbourview on it. Harding. DeMar Rose. Left alone for Jamon Shepherd. Shepherd manhandled by Bygrave. Bygrave couldn't do a lot with the possession though, but he does well to intercept. It's Bygrave inside the box. Bygrave holding up play. Back to Kimoni Bailey. Bailey sends it across. There's nobody there in blue. Merrick has to go back to chase and couldn't quite get there. Harding will try again to make the pass and was robbed, and that's what they should have done initially.
I think Harbourview slowed down significantly.
Oh, what a control from Merrick. Couldn't find a teammate though. Mount Pleasant will get the throw.
They've literally shut down Harbourview. The decision making is so slow.
Doxley, McCalla, back to Doxley. Doxley, he can deliver, and Bailey can't get there. As we're standing by for the Sportsmax app moment of the game. And it's courtesy of Shamari Dyer and Daniel Russell. This one, wonderful save by Russell, and the follow-up from Dyer over the top. That was a hint of desperation there from Russell in the save, but it was enough. The follow-up should have been put away though.
Yeah, it certainly did. Needed some better finishing, and that was the best chance of the first half, but since then we've seen Mount Pleasant hitting the woodwork.
And there's Dyer on the turf getting some attention. He's been busy this afternoon.
I think he's had a good game in the middle of the park for Harbourview, given away a few times, but pretty much there. He's there to break up the Mount Pleasant attack, and a few times he's really done that. His distribution could have been better, but certainly one of the players that have had a good game today.
Kimoni Bailey though is really up there in the lead, isn't he, Kimoni Bailey?
I think so, because you feel Daly has done a few things we saw in the Sportsmax app moment, but I think Bailey rather, has been there more often, has been a greater threat more consistently throughout this one. So, and we're anticipating that it will end 0-0 for those permutation or those selection to hold true as the top candidates.
Shepherd, he's been busy since he's been on the park as well.
But I think at times just a bit slow with his decision making.
There he gets it. Trying to thread that one forward. We're hearing 4 minutes of stoppages to be played.
And I tell you, it's enough time for a team to win it. Like I said, we've seen Javante Stewart.
Well, here's Daly deciding to go the long route, looking for the additional yard of space, finding Rose, DeMar Rose, Harding, Daly, Harding, Rose again. Rose, well, Harding gives it up to Javante Stewart, not the best player to give up possession to. Stewart looking for help. He goes to the byline, sends it across, and Bennett scoops it up.
Yeah, it was quite brave there from Bennett. There was Bygrave bearing down, but it was brave from him, and in the end, yeah, took a knock.
Yep, so just to confirm, the 4 minutes of stoppages will be played.
Harbourview is still struggling with the lack of presence up front. You spoke about it earlier, Donald, about the missing Reed. And it showed up in this game with Trayvon Reed being missing.
Harbourview looking to be the first team to rob Mount Pleasant of 3 points at Drax Hall this season.
But they still have 3 minutes to try and achieve that.
Yeah, a lot of time in football terms. Bygrave, was he pulled down? He's screaming for a free kick. Nothing goes his way. Now it comes through to Merrick. Merrick has Harding in front of him. This is Dwight Merrick on his left, and he sends that high and wide.
The less said about that one, the better. Harbourview taking their time over it, not in a haste to get this one started.
But it sends it long. Shepherd trying to get there and commits the infringement. Mount Pleasant with the possession. One of the final times they'll have possession.
I think McCullough wanted to, in one motion, get Merrick going. Took his eyes off it to see where Merrick was. And miscontrolled.
Shepherd. Shepherd touches it out wide. There's a whistle on the play. Free kick to Harbourview. They'll take their time out this one as well.
There was an opportunity, I felt, to start it early because it was way out, and in the end they're going to play it short anyway, you feel.
Ball played through, and there's a free kick on close to the edge of the box. They're moving up in inches, Harbourview, and they've taken it quickly, much to the frustration of the coaching staff. And now he goes the other way. It's Javante Stewart for Mount Pleasant. He has Bygrave for company. Still Stewart. Stewart's shot didn't have the power needed, and Bennett was grateful to accept.
Yeah, and I think first that they are still, and this coaching staff upset with Daly that he didn't take the free kick.
Was fouled. Free kick to Mount Pleasant, and this may be the last bit of action in this one. Can Mount Pleasant make this one count? That's the question here. With seconds to go in this encounter, it has been a royal battle, especially in the second half. But it may come down to this set piece here. And Mount Pleasant, they are not shy to send the players forward, lurking on the edge of the box, looking to be on the end of this one from Ladale Ritchie. Harbourview, they're just putting the one player in the wall. They'd rather mark the players on the edge of the box, sent up by Mount Pleasant. This needs to be a good delivery from Ritchie. As Mount Pleasant, they try to win it in the end. It's lofted high, it's headed wide of the mark, couldn't get a proper connection. And that is that for this one. 0-0. At the end of the day, they share points again, as they did the first time out when it ended in a 0-0 draw. The game really came to life in this second half, after it was pretty much a dull affair in the first. And Whitmore and company held to a goalless draw for the second consecutive week, which means that they have to be contemplating about their firepower up top. But at the end of the day, both teams appreciate the battle, and the champions come into Draxhall, the home of the favourites, and getting a point in the end. 0-0, the final score. As we take a look at the full-time highlights here, Mount Pleasant had the majority of the chances in this one. Bailey's effort, ambitious, but it really gave an indication as to how he approached this game. And this effort was just wide of the mark from Krista J. Daly. He was involved in most everything Harbourview's way. Then that effort from Hamilton, Russell making the initial save. Dyer really should have converted. That was a magnificent save from Russell. But the follow-up from Shamari Dyer over the crossbar. That was Harbourview's best chance in this game. Hamilton, his effort was blocked. I reckon that was going goalwards as well, but I think Russell would have dealt with it. And then in the second half, the game really came to life as both teams went for it. Trevante Stewart was quiet for most of it. And there was a coming together here that could have turned ugly. McCullough overreacted, as it wasn't a head injury. But both players getting yellow cards there, as Kim Bailey on the end of that ball, putting that one over the top. Really didn't give up on that pass. It was a good try. And Trevante Stewart with a shot on target, was a slight deflection there, but Bennett holding on in the end. And that was that. The final play of the game. The header was misplaced. And that was that. Yep, after 90 minutes 0-0. Mount Pleasant had 19 shots. 19, 5 of which were on target. Harbourview with 8 shots, 1 on target. 11 fouls committed by Mount Pleasant, 2 more than Harbourview. Both teams having a couple of yellow cards each. 8 quarters to Mount Pleasant, 5 more than Harbourview, who had the majority of the possession at 52%.
Kimoni Bayliss, great performance from you today. Since coming to Mount Pleasant, you've been a live wire, a permanent fixture in the starting setup. Today was no different. It was really a good performance from you. How do you feel?
Well, I'm feeling fairly well. I think I played fairly well today. I think I get a few chances where I think I should put to, but otherwise than that, my game was well.
You talk about putting chances away that you got. You served up a lot on a plate for your teammates, and they didn't put it away. I mean, how do you view that?
Well, that's fairly well my job because, as you know, I'm a winger. So I'm here to make assists, score goals, so that's what I've done.
You're up against one of the better fullbacks in the Premier League in Staple. You did so well in keeping him in his own half. Was that a ploy of yours coming into this one?
Well, it's a part of my game, and I play like how I normally play, so it doesn't matter the wing back or who it is. I'm going to always come out and play.
Love the confidence, my friend. All the best. So Bailey, player of the game today, really was a threat throughout this one, and certainly good performance from him. The results didn't go your way. It's the first time that you're dropping points here at Draxall. Quite fittingly, maybe to the defending champions. They're fitting to have taken the points off you. Make sense of this game for me.
Well, again, as we thought it would be a tough game. We didn't create as much chances we wanted. I think we wanted to play down the middle. We didn't play out wide to get the overload on the wings, and that made it easy for the Harbourview team. But all in all, I think it was a well-deserved game.
In your team, you have the league's leading goal scorer, Trevante Stewart, with 13. But this is the second game that a team has kept him quiet and kept your entire charges quiet. What do you make of that?
Well, again, I think frustration might creep in a bit. He has set his target, and for 2 games now, you know, he's been joining. So I think a little bit of frustration, but I think he'll get past that.
Mount Pleasant has been good throughout the season. They say no matter what in a season, a team, no matter how they're flying, there's going to be a little blip. Do you feel this is the blip and you're going to have to work hard through it?
Well, again, as I said before, it's a long season. You know, we're going to have some bad days, some good days, but it's how we get past it. The good thing is that we are not conceding. You know, it's just for us to get on the other end by finishing.
Let's hope there are better days to come, Coach
All
Whitmore.
right, then,
all the best. Yeah, so Coach Whitmore there, he didn't lose it, so not bad. And he expects a close encounter when he comes up against this man's team. You've achieved what no other team has achieved so far this season. Not quite the maximum, but you have taken some points off Mount Pleasant today here at Draxall.
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with the effort my team put in today. We shot on attackers in the roster for today, you know, so it was heavily midfield based. But we knew that as the game went along, we had to make a couple adjustments to suit the situation. Some of our players are not on top form, so it is good that the substitutes can come and put in a shift as well.
I saw you looking to go play over the top at times or direct to Stewart when he was on the park.
Yeah.
And what I didn't see happening was runners beyond him or support coming quickly.
That is a coordination that is going to take a little time because we're not accustomed to him as yet. But in the previous game, he was doing a lot of that, and persons still should have been moving, but it wasn't happening today. But that is something that we can use as a tool going forward, and we can fix it.
A clean sheet against a team that is really rattling in the goals.
Yes.
You're talking about the attacking end, but must be pleased with the effort of your defensive side of the game today.
Yes, and I was particularly pleased with our number 25, Shamar Dyer. It's a makeshift defensive midfielder. He was on a yellow card, but he really was stout-hearted today, and that's the kind of effort that I want from everybody on the team.
I think he was one of your better players, Coach.
That's
all the
right.
best.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at what's happening on the home of champions on Monday. Capital Maroons against Timothy Gardens. That's the first game on Monday evening, 5 p.m. Jamaica time, 6 p.m. in the Eastern Caribbean time. You can join us for coverage at Jamaica College. And then right after that, we will see Cavalier FC going up against Veer United in Monday Night Football, 7:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. ECT. So, just to remind you of the final score here. Mount Pleasant Football Academy 0 and Harbourview Football Club 0. Harbourview coming to Draxall and taking points at the home of Mount Pleasant for the first time this season. Mount Pleasant dropping points at home. On behalf of producer Ramon Stewart and our director Daniel Allen and the hard-working production team here on the Home of Champions, my name is Donald Oliver. It's goodbye from the Garden Parish.